This is my Amalfi Coast Italian vlog. So welcome, we're gonna spend 3 days exploring the Amalfi Coast and I am going to take you along with me for the ride. So I hope you're ready. Hi everyone, I am Noreen from Where to Now, and we're gonna be exploring the Amalfi Coast in 3 days. We're staying in Praiano, and we're going to be going to Positano, Atrani, Amalfi, and Ravello. So stay tuned.
But first things first, what airport do you fly into to visit the Amalfi Coast? Naples International Airport and Salerno Costa di Amalfi Airport are the closest airports to the Amalfi Coast. You'll find better prices and more availability flying into Naples, but the airport in Salerno is a shorter drive to the coastal destinations within the Amalfi Coast. We flew from Sicily to Naples. From Naples, you have several options for reaching the Amalfi Coast. Instead of public transportation, we booked a shared shuttle van from the airport to the Amalfi Coast. Shared shuttle vans are a great way to reach the Amalfi Coast at a reasonable price since you usually share the van with a small group of people. The only downside of a shared shuttle van is that sometimes you'll have to wait or pick up other passengers along the way. Even though we booked our shuttle van for a specific time, we had to wait an hour for other passengers who booked the shuttle at a time similar to ours. But if you're the only one there and there are no additional pickups, then you get the van all to yourself for the same price. Usually we would have opted to travel using public transportation. Still, since our flight landed midday and we wanted to get to the Amalfi Coast in time for a sunset dinner, we decided to splurge a little on a shared shuttle van that was still budget-friendly. However, since we had to wait an hour for the driver to pick up another couple along the way, and we hit traffic on the way to the Amalfi Coast, it would have been better for us to just take the train instead. What was remarkable about the van is that they drop you off in front of your hotel, which is amazing if you have luggage. The Amalfi Coast has a lot of cobbled streets and hills, so you're going to be climbing up and down a lot. So that's a pro for getting the shuttle van, is that they pick you up from the airport and they drop you off right in front of your hotel, so you don't have to wander around, you don't have to climb up and down with a bunch of luggage. If you decide to take public transportation instead, you can take the train from Naples to Sorrento and in Sorrento take the Sita bus to the Amalfi Coast. Many travelers complain about the safety of taking the trains in Naples, as pickpocketing and theft have been an issue. All we have to say is that as New Yorkers, we felt safe and even found the trains charming. But if you're nervous about riding them, simply book the shared shuttle van instead. Another option is renting a car in Naples and driving to the Amalfi Coast. This, though, is my least favorite option, as the streets on the Amalfi Coast are very narrow and always full of buses and tourists. So if you can avoid driving there, I would. So, do you need a car for the Amalfi Coast? No. Renting a car is more of a hassle. Parking tends to be expensive and traffic is unbearable. However, if you still want an autonomous way of getting around, rent a motorcycle instead of a car. 2 wheels are perfect for navigating the Amalfi Coast's narrow, winding uphill towns. If you're looking for budget accommodations, you will want to stay in Sorrento. Now let's talk about where to stay. What is the prettiest town in the Amalfi? The prettiest town is Positano. With its cliffside location, it boasts colorful houses, epic views, iconic beaches, and a handful of restaurants, boutiques, and art galleries. Positano is also the most expensive town to stay in on the Amalfi Coast. Then we have Praiano, my favorite town on the Amalfi Coast. I love staying in Praiano because of its location. Right in the center, making it faster to travel to other towns, especially if you split your day trips for different days. You can explore Positano in one day and then travel to Amalfi, Atrani, and Ravello the next day. In Praiano, you can find wonderful mid-range accommodations with sea views. You can also find mid-range accommodations in Amalfi. Ravello, although beautiful, it is a bit farther up, so if your time on the Amalfi Coast is limited, I don't recommend staying in that area. We stayed in Praiano and loved our seaside boutique hotel. The hotel is located right behind this art and wine shop, where you can purchase your bus tickets. The bus stop is also about a minute walk from this hotel, making it an ideal place to stay.
This is where we're gonna buy our tickets. It's right outside our hotel, so it's actually very convenient. It's also a wine shop, so it's even more convenient because we can get bus tickets and wine here to go.
Now let me give you a little tour of Maresca, a great place to stay if you're looking for mid-range accommodations with a fantastic location and even better views. A pro for Maresca is that there is an on-site private paid parking area if you decide to rent a car. Despite being a boutique hotel, Maresca feels welcoming, big, and open when you first enter. We loved the decor and feel and felt we were staying at a home rather than a hotel, which was really nice. This here is the reception area where you check in. Upon arrival, they give you a map of the area with recommendations, which is great because you're getting all the insights from a local. Then we have the dining area and common area. Breakfast is included with your stay, and you have a buffet-style breakfast and an on-site chef making the best omelets I've ever had. We even looked forward to eating breakfast here daily. Look at the view and the chill vibe. I have to say that the vibe is very different from Positano. Positano feels hectic, feels touristy, in contrast to Praiano, which is so relaxing. Here's that famous omelet I kept bragging about. It's so simple yet yummy and fluffy. I want to go back just for the omelets. Compliments to the chef. Now let's do a little room tour.
The bathroom is huge. This entire room is humongous. You have closets here at the entrance. And then over here you have the bed, queen size bed. You have a little desk with a mirror to prep yourself for the morning. Then we have a little couch here, and always my favorite part, the balcony overlooking the sea. This is our view for the next 3 days. Those are all lemon trees down there. It's a lemon tree, which the Amalfi Coast is known for having lots of lemon trees, so we're for sure gonna try some lemon juice, lemon everything. This is our room again.
Our room was huge. All the info for Hotel Maresca is in the show notes. I will say that Maresca, being a boutique hotel, sells out pretty quickly, so make your bookings as soon as you have your dates so you don't miss out. Guys, I just can't get over this view.
How to get around the Amalfi Coast using public transportation. I'm also going to take you with me so you know where to buy your tickets, what tickets to use, because there's 3 different buses and you need 3 different tickets for each bus. So I am going to show you how I buy the tickets, what I use for the tickets and the buses. Just got my tickets from the shop. This is where we're gonna buy our tickets. It's right outside our hotel, so it's actually very convenient. It's also a wine shop, so it's even more convenient because we can get bus tickets and wine here to go.
Big shout out to this shop. We were there every day buying tickets and wine.
There's 3 buses. You can get the local, you can get the mobility, and you can get the Sida. The local and the mobility go from Praiano to Positano only. We got our tickets and basically we can use them anytime, so there doesn't have to be with a specific time. These are the tickets we got. Local bus you're gonna pay when you're inside is €1. For the other ones you do need a ticket. You can also pay inside, but it's cheaper if you get a ticket from one of the stores like that store over there. Here's what the tickets look like. This is a ticket for the mobility bus. I have 2 tickets here. I can use them anytime. And then this is for tomorrow when we go to Amalfi and Ravello because we need a different bus, which is the Sita bus. So this is for tomorrow. This is maybe for today. I don't know. It depends on the schedule because I can use this one. I can use either for Positano and Praiano, but this one's a little more affordable, so I bought both to see, depending on the time, what time we're gonna take the bus. The trick with being effortless in the bus system is knowing at what time to get the buses, because if you get the buses too late, like around after 9 a.m., everybody is coming from Sorrento all the way to this area, which is Positano, Praiano, Ravello. So then the buses are really full. And if the buses are full, even though you're at the stop, they're not gonna stop. They just keep driving. So sometimes you're like, what? Why is that bus not stopping? And it's because it's full.
And so far, all the buses are full, so no one is stopping. Something to note if you're traveling here, that the earlier you take your bus, the better chances are for you getting on.
So I am going to give you a little guide on how to survive the Amalfi Coast using the buses.
Positano!
Always take a photo of the timetable. That way, you know at what time to start lining up. This is no joke, guys. The buses are always packed. We were there at the end of May, so technically shoulder season, and it was still packed. We did not get lucky on our first day. We wanted to travel from Praiano to Positano, and by 9 a.m., 3 buses had already passed by without making a stop. If this happens to you, you can take a taxi, but I have an even more affordable option. If there's a group of you guys waiting, get together and share the cost of the taxi. That's what we did, and we ended up paying €20 per couple instead of 60. The ride from Praiano to Positano is only 20 minutes, and the taxi will cost you about €60 if you don't split it up. So, is it expensive in the Amalfi Coast? The answer is yes. The Amalfi Coast was the most expensive area we traveled to in Italy. There are ways around this though. This brings me to, what is the best month to visit the Amalfi Coast? I love visiting in April and May or between September and October. I avoid the peak summer months of June to August and the winter months of November to March. How many days is enough for the Amalfi Coast? I suggest 4 to 5 days. As soon as you arrive in Positano, you get those postcard perfect views. You can spend an entire day just hitting the beach or renting a boat and swimming in the open sea. I have a love-hate relationship with the Amalfi Coast. It's super touristy, overpriced, and exuberantly crowded. However, I can't deny its overwhelming beauty, idyllic landscape, and rough terrain, which makes you want to conquer the world, or at least go for a hike or two. After taking in our views, we decided to explore the town on foot. You'll be walking and hiking a lot on the Amalfi Coast, and cobbled streets require sturdy shoes. I'll link my favorite travel sandals if you're looking for shoes you won't need to break in, and they will provide you with support and comfort during your walks. I'll also link some sun protection hats and caps I took with me to Italy. Remember when I said Positano is crowded? This is what to expect when visiting. With extra days in Positano, you can also take a boat cruise and day trips to nearby islands. Shopping is a big deal in Positano. You'll find the cutest postcards, bespoke jewelry, trendy totes, the best linen wear, and handmade leather sandals. Pottery, sculptures, and paintings are also a big thing in Positano. If you decide to have a beach day, you can rent a pair of chairs and umbrellas. You pay by row, so the closer you are to the sea, the more expensive your rental will be. While in Positano, stop by Chiesa di Santa Maria. Once a monastery, this church is known for having a 13th century Byzantine Black Madonna and Child sculpture above on the main altar. If you want to spend the night in Positano, Hotel Poseidon offers great views, swimming pools, and a prime location. Their rooftop restaurant is also a prime location to grab a drink at. You can only enter if you're staying and a guest at the hotel for the most part. So if you want to have epic views of the Amalfi Coast while having a cocktail and you want to stay in the area, this is a great hotel to check out. After walking up and down and around Positano, we decided to stop for lunch at the Michelin-starred restaurant Da Vincenzo. This restaurant is very popular, so I recommend making a reservation. A non-refundable deposit is required to make the reservation. We decided to book an outside table to see what all the hype was about. The food, you guys, was delicious. We started off with the ceviche di ricchiola, a yellowtail ceviche marinated with rhubarb, onion, and radishes. We also had the king prawns tempura with shallots and chili with a sweet and sour sauce, and a couple of Aperol Spritz. For our main course, we both chose pasta dishes. We had the rigatoni, which came with a flavorful homemade ragu sauce made with different cuts of braised beef slowly cooked in a caramelized onion sauce. We also had the linguine with fresh sautéed anchovies, cherry tomatoes, fennel seeds, and breadcrumbs, a house specialty. Both dishes were mouth-watering and delicious. I highly recommend stopping by this restaurant when you visit Positano. And on a sweet note, we had a meal we will never forget. You can also book a table to dine inside the restaurant. Now, you can't walk around the Amalfi Coast without bumping into a million lemon trees, and I'm not even exaggerating. Lemon trees are everywhere on the coast, and these lemons are enormous. You can get everything made of lemon, but my favorite snack while walking around the Amalfi Coast on a hot day is a lemon sorbet.
We're getting our lemon slush. We get it from the machine, from a freezer. They look super fresh.
I love lemons and anything citrusy, so I was in heaven.
You can even eat the skin. And it's yummy.
After a half day of exploring Positano, we were ready to return to Praiano for dinner. If you're using public transportation, remember to check the bus schedule to head back. After missing 3 full buses earlier that day, we didn't want to risk it and decided to leave early. You can also buy your bus tickets at any tabaki shop. If you stay longer in Positano, here are a few recommendations for dinner spots. We found a fantastic dinner spot in Praiano just by looking outside our room's balcony. We saw all the lights at night and decided to investigate and see what was there. The best decision ever. I love finding new places that blow me away, and this restaurant was one of them.
This is so romantic. And also crowd-free, which Positano is crazy crowded. Praiano is not, which we love.
We sat under a canopy of lemon trees and had a romantic and intimate night. Costa Diva was an amazing place to end our night. We shared a plate of shrimp sautéed with lemon, the mixed fried seafood platter, fried potatoes, and the mixed fresh fish and seafood dish. Look how big that wedge of lemon is. Everything was so fresh here. If you make it to Praiano, I highly recommend stopping at Costa Diva for dinner. It was one of the best meals we had on the Amalfi Coast. And we ended our meal with a shot of homemade limoncello. Welcome to day 2. For day 2, we're heading to Atrani, Amalfi, and Ravello. We'll try our luck again taking a bus from Praiano.
It's 8:30 on a Monday, and I can already see we're gonna have much better luck with the bus, unless it just keeps going and doesn't stop. So let's see. The bus is 20 minutes late and I am still waiting. So buses are not the most reliable here in the Amalfi Coast. We just got to the Amalfi and we're heading to Ravello, and it's going to take us another hour and 40 minutes to get to Ravello just because they're taking a detour. Also, even though we were early for the 8:40 bus out of Praiano, we also had to wait because the bus was full. So we ended up, they only fit 4 of us and we had to like stand. So that's something to note, that if you want a seat, you have to go early, for sure.
This is the bus stop in Atrani to head to Amalfi, Ravello, or Positano. Later, we found that due to an earlier accident, there were no buses going towards Ravello. So, once again, a shared shuttle van was the way to go. This shared van was public though, and it was so much cheaper than a taxi, at €5 each way. I honestly prefer it to the buses. It's a little bit more expensive because a bus is like €1.50, but honestly, for safety reasons, because those streets are crazy, those winding up roads just are so tight, and a minivan is so small that you don't feel like you're gonna fall over. After an hour and a half, we made it to Ravello, and the first thing on our list was visiting the epic Villa Simbrone. Now, I want to help you avoid a huge mistake we made. Instead of following the signs all over town to reach the villa, we decided to follow the directions that Google Maps was giving us. Google Maps, my friends, took us through the back roads, making the journey an uphill hike rather than a stroll. If you're up for it, taking this route will offer you fantastic views of the Amalfi Coast. We were just not expecting to hike that day, but we welcomed the challenge. On our hike, we passed through many vineyards, scenic landscapes, and local homes. This path also leads to other towns, so you can hike this area for a while if you wish. Sometimes we hiked on paved streets by local homes, and after a while of wondering whether we were going the right way, we finally arrived at Villa Simbrone.
All I have to say is this was a hike. Google Maps is going to tell you it's like 16 minutes. It's more like 40 minutes, maybe 45. We made it! But I am so sweaty right now. The hike is real.
Visiting this villa was at the top of my list, and you'll see why in just a second. This villa is beautiful and deserves a day trip. There is so much to see here.
It's €10 per person, and when you enter, they give you a little map with a layout of everything in the garden. There's everything that's in the garden. You have the cloisters, the crypt. It's a map.
This is also a very popular venue for weddings. But the highlight for us was reaching the Infinity Terrace, which offers the most dramatic views overlooking the sea. Roman-style statues make you feel part of royalty and the elite. I found my new Italian villa home and didn't want to leave. These marble busts here have one of the best views of the Amalfi Coast. Villa Simbrone and its gardens date back to the 11th century. It is also now a 5-star hotel, so if your budget allows, you can spend the entire night here. This makes it an ideal destination for honeymooners. I'll add the info to the show notes in case you want to stay the night. After taking in the epic views, we made our way to the cafe, where we got some lemon sorbet and enjoyed the peaceful atmosphere before touring the gardens. The gardens are open to the public daily. Throughout the garden, you'll find statues, aromatic roses sweetening the air, and my favorite unexpected find, the caged statue of Eve at Eve's Grotto. The white marble statue of Eve is located inside a natural cave on the garden's ground. It depicts Eve just after her expulsion from the Garden of Eden. This garden took me back to my time in Florence when we hiked up to the rose gardens right below Piazzale Michelangelo. If you're hungry in Ravello and are looking for a place to eat some amazing pizza, I recommend stopping at Mimi Pizzeria. After visiting the villa, we decided to stroll around, window shop, and see some art galleries. Remember when I told you Google took us through the long path to Villa Simbrone? Well, if you want to skip the hike and get right to the villa in under 15 minutes, follow these signs. Forget about looking up directions on Google Maps. This is what the main area looks like. So if you see the clock tower, you're heading the right way. You can also visit other villas and monasteries in the area and even take a walking tour of the area with a local guide, which we love doing every time we visit a new destination. I'll add my favorite guided tours and activities in the show notes. After half a day in Ravello, we decided to make our way back, stopping in Amalfi. Just outside the main square, all the buses, shuttles, and taxis do drop-offs and pickups. Amalfi is another popular town on the Amalfi Coast that deserves a stop if you can. Accommodations are also more affordable in Amalfi than in Positano. And the village is fun and lively with a more local feel. Shopping for souvenirs is also great in this area. You'll get better prices than in other parts of the Amalfi Coast. We stopped in Amalfi for lunch and shared the catch of the day. We even saw them bringing in the lobster straight from the sea. It doesn't get any fresher than that.
With pasta? Yes. We have half and half, you share half and half for you, okay? And the red cherry tomato sauce. Gusta. All right. first and okay.
Looks amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. It's really good.
Our dish was so flavorful and fresh. Delicious. If you want to dine here, I recommend making a reservation. Also, keep in mind that many restaurants in Italy close after lunch for riposo and reopen later for dinner. Not all places are open straight on for the entire day. I would say to plan on not eating at a sit-down restaurant between the hours of 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. Times will vary depending on the restaurant, so always check the website before visiting. After our amazing seafood pasta, we finished off with a spongy and tasty lemon cake. That cake was so good. After lunch, we decided to walk off our food coma and explore Amalfi on foot. These are huge. Look at my hand.
Which one do you think?
Whichever one you want.
This one? Looks good?
Yeah.
We're gonna turn that lemon into a lemon sorbet.
We took advantage of our location and had lemon everything. Another cool thing you can do here in Amalfi is visit a lemon farm where you can walk through the lemon groves, take cooking classes, and have a cliffside lunch at a local's home, something I highly recommend doing when visiting the area. After a refreshing treat, we made our way to Duomo di Amalfi. The Amalfi Cathedral is a medieval Roman Catholic cathedral in Piazza del Duomo of Amalfi. The cathedral is beautiful to visit, and from the top you can also get a bird's eye view of the piazza. Duomo di Amalfi is the town's most iconic landmark to this day, and it is a must visit while in Amalfi. The cathedral is big, and walking around its grounds gives you a glimpse into Amalfi's history. With every renovation that took place, traces of the past remain, giving the cathedral its unique and eclectic decor. One of my favorite things to look at when I'm visiting churches is the fresco paintings on their walls. I find them beautiful, and they evoke an emotion within me that makes me want to know more about the place and learn about its history. In addition to the main church, you can visit the atrium, the cloisters of Paradise, the crypt, and the Church of the Crucifix. So you can easily spend a few hours alone in this area. Saint Andrew is Amalfi's patron and saint, and his relics are preserved at this cathedral. I love the Baroque style and architecture here. It is so grand and regal, full of drama and luxury, and still a place of worship. Via Lorenzo di Amalfi is the main road you'll want to walk while in Amalfi. The road is full of shops, stands, and restaurants. This is a very charming area full of many things to see. You'll find Tonio Beach right across the main square in Amalfi. You can chill here if you're looking to have a beach day. The local bus stop for Amalfi is also in this area. Guys, public transportation on the Amalfi Coast is no joke. Look at all these people waiting for the bus. You sometimes have to line up an hour before the bus arrives because if you don't, you might not make it. After a 45-minute wait, we made it on and traveled from Amalfi to Praiano.
So this is our last night in the Amalfi Coast, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, but we are ready to leave. This town is crazy. I really don't understand what all the hype is about. It's maybe because all you see is the pretty photos, but you don't see the reality. And the reality is that this is a crazy place. Like, there are no rules. There, it's super touristy, it's super crowded. We were there Sunday, which is a bad day, but then we also were here on Monday and on Tuesday, and it was still super crowded. The buses, oh, that's crazy too. I feel like the only way you'll enjoy the Amalfi Coast is if you have a private boat and you're just rent it out, go into the ocean, and wander around, just swim, because if you're exploring using the local buses, your life is going to be a nightmare, because if the buses are full, guess what? They pass you. And then the ride, especially from Praiano to Ravello, is kind of scary because we're going up and it's really narrow, and sometimes you have two buses going at the same time. As those roads are crazy. We found the road traveling from Amalfi to Ravello closed today, so we had to take a local bus, and then we found out that the road is closed because one of the buses missed a turn and fell off the cliff. Like, that happened earlier this month, and it was kind of scary, I'm not gonna lie. So I don't know, maybe Amalfi is not a good idea.
After contemplating whether we would return or not, we decided to have dinner at La Moresa in Praiano. The food was so yummy and the portions were huge. Our appetizer looked like the main course. That's how big it was. I highly recommend this place. It was the best pizza we had in all of the Amalfi Coast. The next day was a travel day for us. We took the Cita bus from Praiano to Sorrento and the train from Sorrento to Naples. Taking the train and buses is the most affordable way to visit the Amalfi Coast. I had so many feelings about the Amalfi Coast, mostly because the buses were just a nightmare. The shoulder season, at least the end of May, was still packed. Was so packed. So I had a great time in other cities that did not require me to always be waiting for a bus for hours at a time. I think next time we go, we might just get a motorcycle and do it ourselves and just rent a boat and go travel through the Amalfi Coast on water instead of land. I think that's a better way to go because the bus system, it was just, for me, a mess. The journey from Sorrento to Naples via train is about an hour 15. We finally made it to Naples, where we spent a night eating and bar hopping. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It motivates me to continue creating more travel videos like this. And if you have any recommendations on the Amalfi Coast, leave a comment below for the travel community traveling to the Amalfi Coast so they can find a new place to check out.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Till next time.